It's all right. I can edit that.
Go see what we can find here on Long Island.
These rocks are like death-defying. I guess that's why it's called Shrimp Hole. We're down at Dean's Blue Hole.
I'm Herb, and this is Heather. We're post-career empty nesters who found the next phase of our lives lacking. Inspired by other YouTubers, we bought a small fixer-upper sailboat and spent 2 years building her into our traveling home. Now we're about to find out if it was all worthwhile. Subscribe and come along on our next adventure as we set sails to rediscover what's really necessary to live a meaningful life.
Wind into myself, away from things I let go, floating on the waves. We go bottoms up, we go all the way. When you're feeling down, push the pain away.
So this is Cape Santa Maria, named by Columbus after one of his ships, Pinta and Santa Maria. And Calabash Bay is actually the name of this little body of water. And boy, after leaving Georgetown and some of those busy anchorages in the Exuma, it's pretty nice to have a place all to yourself. Top of that, it's like we know everybody. Well, we don't know this one boat. They just came in though, so we might hear after a while. But that right there is Brian. He's on Grateful. Known Brian since our days in Tavernier. Actually just ran into him over here. Of course, walk into the bar and run into each other. I'll just leave that for your own interpretation. And this is Sheet Show right here behind us. Sheet Show's joining up with us as a buddy boat as we start moving toward the Lower Bahamas and Turks and Caicos and maybe on to the DR.
It's been said that cruising past Georgetown is an entirely different world, and so far, that's proving true. The crowds are gone. We only saw one other boat on our passage across, but it's a bit more than that. There's more ocean and less island here, and we're crossing into the Tropic of Cancer, the most northerly circle of latitude on Earth where the sun can be directly overhead. But along with these changes, the current weather and sea state have us a bit stuck. For the past week, we've either been beset by calm with hardly any wind to speak of, or the wind is just coming from the wrong direction in which to sail. The tide change is notable, and the swell around the northern end of the island is sometimes significant and uncomfortable.
So we've had to use the swell bridle a little here. You can kind of see off of this point, that's pretty much where the swell is coming in from offshore. It doesn't exactly line up with the wind, so it does kind of change the ventilation a little bit, but oof, boy, you almost trade that for a little more peaceful night. Not rolling at all. So you can see I'm not really moving that much here on deck, even though we got plenty of swell. It's actually a really simple procedure. You can see our anchor chain just kind of starts here, goes out part of the way, where I have just kind of cleated on with a rolling hitch, a line that goes back to, currently I have it on a on the winch there in the cockpit. You can kind of see the line probably, but that allows me to make little adjustments along the way.
Despite these conditions, with the Cape Santa Maria resort nearby, there are worse places to wait.
You can probably tell this by the names, but at least locally, there's great interest in where Christopher Columbus landed on his first voyage in 1492. I'm not sure that I get it. I don't know that any of us are following in his footsteps or trying to recreate the voyage, but I don't know, maybe? Making things more difficult is that there's an entire landfall controversy when it comes to Columbus. Here's the deal.
Columbus arrived on an island in the Bahamas that he named San Salvador. The native inhabitants, the Arawak, call the island Guanahani. I'm probably butchering that. But his description of the island in the captain's log, well, it's a bit generic. Large, level, and with a lagoon. And like all the other islands he encountered, he wrote, "These lands are the most fertile, temperate, level, and beautiful countries in the world." So that doesn't exactly narrow it down. With so little to go on, it's easy to make an argument for nearly any beautiful lagoon in the Bahamas. And there's no archaeological evidence. Columbus landed only briefly on the island. He was far more interested in moving on to richer and more promising parts of what he thought, at least, were the Indies. The crazy part is, more than 500 years later, there is still no definitive answer as to the landfall question. But the general consensus is that Columbus landed on what is known as Watlings Island. The residents of Watlings, well, they renamed their island San Salvador in 1926, figuring the right name was the key to their claim to be Columbus's island. But we do think Columbus reached this island next, or maybe third. But regardless of the order, he was here in 1492, and there's a monument placed on the northern point of the island marking his stay.
Well, I'm breaking the timeline a little bit, so spoiler alert, when we leave around the north end of the island. I wanted you to be able to see the Columbus monument and maybe appreciate what Columbus saw when he was approaching from San Salvador, kind of coming through the New World for the first time. So this would have been the view. You can kind of see the monument probably on top of the cliff. Anyway, I just thought you'd appreciate a calm day and being able to see across the bay. I have no idea what the conditions were when Columbus got here, but, you know, it's kind of, it certainly sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
Of course, there's much more to do and see on Long Island, so we thought we'd make good use of the weather pause to rent a car and do some exploring of our own.
Yes, all right, well, we're kind of off on an adventure. We don't exactly know. We kind of stumbled into a rent car, and we're just going to take advantage of the morning and go see what we can find here on Long Island.
This is pretty crazy. Man. Definitely goes back there a ways. Like, I don't know, I'm not brave enough to get in. Kind of wish I was, though. That's a pretty cool joint. Oh, these rocks are like death-defying. I can't tell how far back this goes. Oh, look at those little red shrimps. I guess that's why it's called Shrimp Hole. They're just swimming on the surface. The shrimp's carrying a lizard. Well, that shrimp hole is pretty unique, I gotta say. Kind of cool. A little buggy though. Kind of hard to access. Really sharp rocks, and definitely got the mosquitoes out today. So had a couple days of rain too. I'm sure that's not helping with anything. That is definitely a stop and see it kind of place. Just maybe be more prepared than I was today. down at Dean's Blue Hole. This place is famous as a free-diving spot. I think it's the deepest in the world. It's got to be close at least. I don't know, I'll look that up, but I know it's over 600 feet deep, and it's where pretty serious free-diving competitions take place. But man, just look at this scenery. I don't know exactly what I was expecting here from Dean's Blue Hole. Like, don't really follow the, not a fan of the freediving sport. Definitely a fan of the skill level though. But in any case, I guess I was thinking maybe it was just like coastal or something, or in the bay. I don't know exactly. It's a bad preconceived idea. But anyway, it's in this little protective alcove. It's actually beautiful. It's not all built up or commercial. Just a lot of nature and this incredibly deep blue hole. Headed to the Great Stella Maris Caves. But right now we're eyeing some crabs. This sidewalk's kind of precarious. You gotta be on your toes here.
Those are great.
Got some loud some bitches. Oh. Are you recording?
That's all right. I can edit that. Look at this steepness here. I mean, I am on in flip-flops, but we're just decided that what's missing here is a handrail. How lame is that, huh? We want a handrail. And we're here.
That's not so bad.
That wasn't so bad.
That's about a shorter walk than the shrimp walk.
This feels very Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, pretty big.
Oh, I'm loving this table. It's like there's a stage. It's the Fountain of Youth.
Look at this funky little pocket on the table.
Not a real skull.
Good thing. Like somebody's brought part of a boat down.
Okay, this totally looks
I think it's kind of like a bar setup, actually, as much as we're joking about it. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Look at this.
Well, the way they have it, they set at this table, it's like maybe they're saying
It's like a Molotov cocktail. In fact, it looks like they've got supplies. So we're thinking maybe we missed a meeting? Okay, we figured this out. They're actually like torches or candles to light the place. So here's one that was left at
It was a nightclub. You were
it was
right.
left out at table 23. So
Table 23.
that was actually kind of cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Weird.
it is a little odd. Yeah. Oh. Made the blooper reel. Almost blew out a flip flop.
sort of a weird
Cult vibe.
Cult vibe, okay.
Or Clockwork Orange vibe.
Yeah, I was gonna go with like a Lost Boy thing.
get all the tape.
Little Peter Pan-y. Okay, we're on the move in Calabash Bay. It's an early morning. Let's see, it's not, well, it's almost 8 o'clock. I guess that's not so early. For you landlubbers, that's not so early. Mostly the challenge here this morning is to stay out of the shallows because we're pretty close to low tide. We've managed to kind of get into a 9-foot area right at the moment, which is helping out a bit. We just got to kind of get through the reef, and then frankly we're in deep water pretty much all day. So anyway, a little bit of an early morning.
This is how sad our wind situation is. Our flags are so sad. Why are we moving when why are we moving when there's no wind?
It's one of those unique times when yesterday the wind was terrible and not what we needed it to be. Today is calm. But tomorrow the winds are where we need them to be, but not where we were. So we gotta use today to reposition to get ready for where the wind's going to be the next day or two. So that's a long explanation. The short explanation is this: the trades generally run from the east this time of year. They were a little bit disrupted by a low that moved off to our north and disrupted things, so we've had wind shift around and go from the west. And we're now in between those two things. So, you know what, we were in a great place. We hung out for a while. And unfortunately, we're having to use a dead day to move. This would have been a great day to be on anchor, don't you think? Somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can snorkel, you can paddleboard, you can do whatever you want.
And if only yesterday's winds were going the right way, we could have made something happen.
But it was choppy yesterday,
oh, and
too.
swell. Right. Well, it's behind a low. I mean, that's the thing. It's just a little weather. So, hey, you don't always get ideal conditions, but man, I mean, it's hard to complain.
Once you've been in a place for a while, it's hard to, or it's odd to start moving again. We've been here for about 10 days, I think, maybe more. So now you really just have to think about, okay, what do we have to do to get going again? What do we have to put away? Because it's just been a few days since we've done it, so here we go. How's it look up there?
Calm. Boy, it is blue. Here comes Sheet Show. Oh, the joys of a catamaran. They got to sleep in another at least an hour. I mean, we did kind of go. Anyway.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, air conditioning. So I hope they're watching this video. No, in all fairness, we came out at low tide. We went south in order to go north so we could get in the channel. We got a little bit deeper draft. They were able to cut the corner. You know, hey, that's one of the advantages they have, as much as we're kind of picking on it. So anyway, Sheet Show's coming around the corner. They should catch up with us pretty quick. They make a lot better time than us. So anywho, we're all on our way to Clarence Town. Dropped our speed, something we learned recently. Oh yeah, there it is. Are you sure?
You're free. Enjoy your...
All right, all the sails up. Not too much wind, but yeah, we picked up maybe less than half a knot, but still it feels good. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, first it goes into less than half a knot.
That's all right, it's still cool.
It's still fun.
Yeah.
It's a good workout.
It's a little windy, I know, but I was hoping to pick up a little wind maybe off that squall, but it doesn't look like we're really going to get it. It's definitely making for some slow conditions. I mean, it's very nice though. So far we managed to catch one barracuda. Sheet Show has caught a mahi though, so they're rubbing it in. I immediately put my line back out. So, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so definitely worse ways to spend the day.
really close. We're actually coming into our anchorage right now. You can see the church up on the hill as we come into Clarence Town. Well, it's like it's suddenly getting busy. Like, not only is there a catamaran, like, looks like it's anchored right in the center of the channel. We've got the cat right behind us. Now we got this big boy coming in. Cat's right here. It's like we're back in Miami. Heather's getting the anchor down. We kind of made a circle around the whole place. That's the main port there. You see there's a few of us out here right around Sandy Point. And I think that sheet show just beginning to show on the horizon there coming in. How we looking? So what I do is I back down on it. Heather looks at it visually. I look at it right here on the old Anchor Pro app. So we'll put this dude in reverse and we'll rev it up a little bit. And see if you can make that dot move. A little bit, huh? Not much. Heather gives the thumbs up. That means the anchor is set and we can turn off the engine. Woo! That was a long day. So, all right, I gotta put down the camera so I can go dive the anchor and make sure it's in okay. And we'll probably be cleaning up and making some dinner. But glad you made the ride with us. All is safe at the southern end of Long Island.
But I won't let the stormy seas throw me in open water. Let me have my peace and leave me till tomorrow. Wind into my sail, away from things I let go, floating on the waves. We go bottoms up, we go all the way. When you feel